Hello and welcome to the first episode of Don't Be Dumb podcast. For the first episode today, we have Dr. Karishma Desai with us, who is an associate program director and associate professor, a senior IEE member, a researcher, and one of my all-time favorite teachers. Karishma ma'am, how are you?
I'm good, Yash. How are you?
I am great, ma'am. Very excited to do this episode with you.
Same here.
So, ma'am, you have been teaching around for like 13 years. Do you have like any crazy stories that you would like to share?
It's been a good 13 years, so a lot of crazy stories. But I would like to share that when I was pursuing my PhD in 2019, so I submitted my PhD thesis, and at that time I was expecting my baby, and I had my baby 10 days before, just before submitting the thesis. So that I think is one of the most crazy academic thing I've done while being pregnant and having a baby and having, to submit my thesis.
Hats off to you, ma'am. So, how many research papers have you published till date?
Okay, so research has always been an area of interest for me as an academician, along with innovative teaching pedagogies that I teach. I moved from teaching to active learning in class, which you must have observed. But when it comes to research, I have more than 25 publications.
25? Oh my God.
And few of them are in Scopus journals, ABDC journals, and UTC Careless journals. I have also guided more than 50 students in publishing their research work in peer-reviewed journals so that they could create and build a profile where they could get into good colleges and do their post-graduations in premier B schools.
Are you pursuing a research paper right now at this point?
Yes, I am in the process of writing few research papers which are in the pipeline, which are getting selected in good peer-reviewed journals.
Can you talk about your latest research papers? Dental something.
Yeah, so I have one paper which is the recent paper which I'm working on is on greenwashing and its implication with respect to what implication greenwashing has on, how does greenwashing result into cancel culture amongst the youth who believe and trust brands. So they feel, we've created a nice theoretical framework for that of how greenwashing could result into cancel culture. So it's pretty interesting.
Amazing, ma'am. Do you have any tips for students? Like, personally, I struggled with my research paper very much. Like, I wasn't getting any ideas. Like, what is your process for finding a topic, researching on it? Like, what do you do?
Right. So I passionately guide students for research, and it comes naturally to me. So what I feel that you have to streamline when it comes to research. First, you have to identify and select a topic, not just because it interests you, but we have to see whether there's enough literature review on that topic. Because, students select a topic of their interest, then they come to us saying that there's nothing on this, ma'am, I'm not getting papers. How do I skim through those papers? There's not enough data. So we don't want you to get into that, phase when you're always just looking out for research papers. So first, it's not just an interesting and a trending topic. Of course, it should be trending. The keywords should be trending. Also, the research paper at the end of it should offer something new. And that's very vital. So when they come to me, first I help them with the topic selection. Then we we help them to select research papers through Google Scholar. And the most important thing is the references should come from Scopus journals only. So highly indexed Scopus journals, because if your references are from quality journals, from ABDC and Scopus,
Credible sources, yeah.
From credible sources, only then there are chances for your research paper to be actually published in good journals. Rule number 1 is Google Scholar or Semantic Scholar search. Second is please use the references in Scopus journals. Third is use only contemporary research papers. So people use research papers back 10 years back, 20 years back and expect them to get published. It's not happening. You have to include past 5 years research papers, contemporary research papers, so that your research is contemporary and is publishable. And of course, you should always know the journal where you wish to publish, so that you are very aware of their guidelines and you align the entire research paper formatting and the referencing based on the guidelines of the journal, and you just don't do things arbitrarily.
how helpful is it to have a research paper in your CV to get into like a Ivy League school?
So very often people feel that, I'm not into research because I don't want to get into academics. This is what students tell.
Yeah.
You don't need to get into academics. Research is a different thing altogether, right? If you are someone who thoroughly enjoys research, it will keep you intrigued and it will make you feel, you will feel very motivated to do it intrinsically. So when we talk about any top tier B school, they do look at the research profile of students. And again, we have to be very careful that the publications are not in predatory and clone journals, and the publications are in peer-reviewed UGC CARE or ABDC journals. So it's very important for the students to get their publications. They can always collaborate with a professor who could be their research mentor and handhold them through the entire research process.
So if I wake up tomorrow and I'm like, I want to apply to Ivy League school. So like, what should be my process? Like, how do I start?
Okay, so now this is like, it's of course very achievable, but at the same time, I think you should start planning for Ivy League while you're 18 years, right? So you are looking at a CGPA at anything close to 3.96.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at an Ivy League, you need to get paper published. And you can't think that just, publishing papers or having the right CGPA would get you there. There are multiple criterias to this. You also need to take care. You also need to consider, some other misconceptions. I would want to, bust some myths right now. Students feel that if they work 30 hours, 60 hours in an NGO, that would help them get to an Ivy League. It's a good start, I won't deny. Working with an NGO helps you align yourself to community welfare practices that is close to your heart. But nevertheless, what Ivy Leagues are typically looking at is how you can actually have an impact on large number of lives. Okay, so if you are someone who's an initiator of a community welfare, social welfare project, which is sustainable in nature, which the government recognizes, which has had a positive impact on, say, X number of lives, and that's something that can really help you level up and your CV to get in there.
Does it have to be like social welfare or it can be in any field?
Yes, so social welfare does help you a lot. I won't deny that. So that's something that I would definitely say. But over and above working, now again, when you talk about your profile, it's a good idea to work along with working with MNCs. It's a good idea to work in a startup venture. So, where you're fostering a culture of startup innovation and zeal. Before you actually initiate your own, it's a good idea to understand the nitties and gritties of, of understanding of working in a startup. So especially Indian top tier B schools do take into consideration your experience of working in a startup.
Okay. So it basically shows that I'm credible in this field. Like I want to pursue it, like my chances increase.
Yeah. So it should be looking like a very smartly, well thought, well curated CV, and which is focusing on academics as well as social welfare, as well as entrepreneurial zeal. So you have to be like a good mix of all of this. At the same time, you have to get your letter of recommendation from your professors. So my advice to the students is to really, we are at Atlas having so many opportunities for you to grow by leaps and bounds. So it's a good idea for you to connect with us so that you can help us with institution building activities. That would really help you write better. We could write better letter of recommendations.
Okay. In your LinkedIn bio, you have the word AI enthusiast. Can you elaborate on that?
Right. So I have a research paper published with the Emerald Journal, a book chapter published on artificial intelligence and its impact on jobs in COVID-19 times. And I'm also a peer reviewer for Emerald Journals. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, we have to understand that we are living in an era of Industry 5.2 where it's going to be an era of augmented intelligence, where artificial intelligence is going to run in synergy with human intellect. So it's about how we can leverage the AI tools, but at the same time, we could use the right, a nice mix of human intellect, of human leadership skills, of human beings being able to build cohesive teams along with AI tools so that we could get to the best possible outcomes for businesses.
Do you use AI help for research paper?
So when we talk about AI, very often immediately we think of ChatGPT per se.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's about there are good AI tools which can help you curate research papers in a format that they're original. And at the same time, you are not copy pasting, because for the papers that where we submit, you need to have a similarity index of less than 10%. So it's going to be, you're running through a lot of Turnitin, and a lot of plagiarism check will be done before your paper is accepted. So there are some good smart AI tools which could help you, like Trinka.ai is there to, keep a good, you can understand, you can eliminate any grammatical mistakes. There is Bard, which could be helping you with literature review. There is Genai.ai. So there is an advanced version of ChatGPT. So there are good AI tools which will help you level up your research, and it's only to help you level up and get to a better quality of work, and not try to, it is not with the motive to reduce the originality and the value that your paper can bring on board.
But like AI is so, like, to me, AI is very crazy. So I recently saw Sam Altman interview. He's like, in the next 10, 20 years or so, there will be no interviews and everyone will have their own AI persona. So suppose if I want to go to you for a job, you won't take an interview, मेरे से interview नहीं लोगे, you will just ask my AI, my own AI persona, the questions, and you will give me jobs based on that.
Okay, so this could be pretty overwhelming when you listen to news like this. We definitely don't disregard the importance of growing artificial intelligence, but that's the prime difference between Industry Revolution 4.0 and 5.0. The focus in Industry 4.0 was only on AI tools, AR, VR technology, 3D printing, and all of these, matrices. But when we talk about Industry Revolution 5.0, which was initiated in Japan, it now focuses on employee welfare, building sustainable businesses, building resilient businesses, where employee welfare is, a very prime part of running businesses, along with AI tools. So Industrial Revolution 5.0 has very much recognized that we have to bring this humanizing factor to AI for it to actually yield good results, which are, good not just for businesses, but for welfare of society.
I feel like there's this common misconception where like people will think that AI will destroy jobs. But personally, I think AI will create more jobs and like eliminate all these stuff that AI can do, a human is doing, like some manual stuff. I think so AI can replace that and create more quality jobs.
Yeah, so AI, it's not going to replace people with jobs from their jobs, but people who learn AI may replace you, right? So as you said, jobs which are monotonous, repetitive, and could be, delegated through AI processes, yes, those blue-collar jobs could, be taken over through AI processes. So that's why there's a need for our students to carve a niche for themselves, to build profiles which are unique, so that you offer a bunch of skill sets. We are Atlas SkillTech University. We are here to offer you one of the best skills that you can bring on board when you join work. So you need to come up with your unique skill sets based on which it would be a true value addition for the organization to have you on board. And it would be really difficult to replace you easily.
So for like the next generation, learning AI is a essential skill set whatsoever.
Yeah, so I think we should not run away from it, and we should try to embrace it. We should embrace change. Like, when we talk about change, you have to be someone who totally embraces change, because that's how you'll be able to navigate through VUCA times in businesses.
Can you elaborate on VUCA?
VUCA is volatility, volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So there are multiple VUCA changes which have impacted businesses. So businesses have to come up with a lot of modifications in their pre-existing strategies if they want to navigate through those VUCA times, okay? So if you're talking about businesses like HDFC Bank, one of the biggest private sector banks that we have known. So primarily, they are moving towards more creation of more secured loans compared to unsecured loans. They are working on the premises of increasing their home loan penetration of the 70 million customer base that they have. They're trying to do that. So then what else they're trying to do is they're going to offer, they're doing a lot of cross-selling of their products. They're offering their pre-existing customers an array of a bouquet of other products that are there in their, in their product profile. So what are they doing? They're understanding that if they want to grow as the biggest bank in the world, they have to initiate strategies to increase their customer base and to make banking comparatively easier. So they're moving from being a sales-based banking organization to being a more relationship-based market banking organization. So I feel that's what is explaining you how this bank has navigated through a VUCA change.
How was COVID teaching for you? Like the first time teaching online, like mass lectures, how was it for you?
Okay, so when COVID struck, we were never prepared for
No one was.
Online lectures, and I was having a very small baby at home, so I had to take care of a very small infant while I was teaching online lectures. So initially, you go through a phase where you get into denial mode, like I'm not teaching online. I need to see my students. As you know me, I like to feel the vibe and energy of my students. Right? Yeah, I like to see them smiling. I like to see them happy. I like to see if they're understanding or not. Their facial expressions are very important for me. I think that fuels my teaching passion. So I felt that it was really a downer for me because I was teaching online and probably I could not gauge all of that so well. But nevertheless, we again just spoke about navigating VUCA. And COVID invariably was one of the very big, had a lot of VUCA impact on multiple businesses. So we just took it in our stride. And we said, as teachers, we will not let anything in this world stall the quality of education we wish to offer. And we tried to use a lot of pedagogical innovations so that we could foster interest levels among our students. There were a few challenges, but I think we did a good job.
Amazing. How did you get your IE certification?
I am a IEEE member. So you get a senior IEEE membership if you are 10 years plus in the teaching profession. And you have quality research paper and research work done in the arena of artificial intelligence and machine learning.
Okay. You did your master's at Symbiosis.
Yes, I did my MCOM, then I did my PGDBA from Symbiosis, then I'm net qualified, and I'm done my PhD in Business Administration and Policy from Mumbai University, KJ Somaya.
How was your time at Symbiosis?
Yeah, it was good.
When did you first think that I want to become a teacher?
Okay, so my mom is a professor.
Oh.
So she was a vice principal and she was a professor of organic chemistry. And I happened to get into commerce because my dad was a chartered accountant. So the plan was to finish CA and take care of his practice. But I was someone, when I started to study, I think management started to make me feel very intrigued. Like I felt that, although I'm good with numbers too, I felt that, these case studies and understanding human resource management or strategic management is something that appealed to me by leaps and bounds. And then what happened is then I started teaching some of my friends when I was in Narsi Munji College. And when I was doing that, they said, you're teaching well. We understand when you teach. And they started making me I started to feel a little validated. So then I just, probably just from there, I got an opportunity. I said, let me try. And then it's just moved from one place to another.
Amazing, ma'am. You are a avid reader?
Yes, I love to read books too, if I get free time, that is.
Do you have any book recommendations for our viewers?
Of course, I definitely have, because you know what? One thing what I feel with this bunch of brilliant Gen Z students of mine, they are such bright sparks and there are a lot of preconceived notions about Gen Z, which I really feel that we should bust. It is that they have attention span problems undeniably. That could have been induced because of excessive social media usage. But nevertheless, I feel that reading is a superpower. And if you make it a habit to read some quality books, it could really change the trajectory of not just your career, but your thought processes. We are not only the 5 people whom we are closest to.
Yeah.
We speak or we meet, but we are also the books we read, the podcasts we listen to, the music we listen to, the OTT platforms that we expose ourselves to. So it's very important for us to get all these systems in place. So when it comes to books, I would really suggest Atomic Habits by James Clear. We also have Shoe Dog by Phil Knight.
One of my favorite books.
It is one of the best books to be read by a management student, and especially if you're interested in entrepreneurship. Nike's entire stories are molded there. And then, of course, there is something known as this Carl Newport's Deep Work. Deep Work. And it's really one of the very good books. And I feel that these 3 books are top 3 recommendations. Of course, I have an entire list, but for beginners, I feel move on to. I think you should start reading these books. They are definitely game changers.
So like there have been various industrial revolutions. I feel there have been various educational revolutions also. Like we started with blackboard and chalk, then we went on to whiteboard. Now we are on projectors. So when you started teaching, I'm sure you started teaching via blackboard, then a whiteboard, and now projector. What are your thoughts on that?
See, ultimately, what truly matters is the connect with your with the class that you make. So you have to create an environment where the students are genuinely keen to listen and learn. So we are not teaching. So what does assurance of learning mean? Assurance of learning means where you are migrating from teaching to active learning. So the premise remains the same. So we are using pedagogical innovations like a flipped classroom, or case studies, or simulation exercises, role play sessions, skits. These are all great pedagogical innovations. However, I feel when you make it interactive for the students and you bring something new on board, and at least our students have 3 to 4 major takeaways from every class, I think it's a success.
Great, ma'am. So you are a management teacher. So what do you believe management what is more important, like theoretical learning or practical learning?
I think I will definitely say that you should be conceptually strong. So again, when we talk about B-school interviews, definitely they are going to ask you questions to test you if you're conceptually there or not. So concepts should be clear, but at the same time, a lot of management learning, there's a seismic shift that we see when it comes to management learning. And a lot of it has got practical implications. So when it comes to even my subject that I'm doing with you is Leadership Challenge, there's going to be a lot of simulation and case studies so that you acquaint yourself with the latest business scenarios and how leaders and strategists are, dealing with these kind of changes and helping to lead a new India.
Is there any specific research paper you have that has a direct influence on your teaching style?
See, when it comes to research paper, I don't think there's a specific research paper per se, but I always made it a point to read quality research papers from Springer, Emerald, Wiley's, you can say Elsevier. These are Taylor and Francis. These are one of the best quality journals from where you can read quality research papers. So once you're used to reading quality, you know that how the research paper actually unfolds. And then probably you can pick up a lot from the cues from the writing style and from the excellence that they follow while they, establish parameters for research paper and academic writing.
Ma'am, what are your hobbies?
Okay, so of course, as you know, I love to read.
Yeah.
Along with that, I'm quite a homebody. I'm a mom to 2 boys, aged 9 and 4, and I have a lot of my free time I spend with them, playing with them, coloring with them, taking them down for playing or even baking for them or something like that. I'm like very much a person who's very peaceful, doing things at home. Like I'm a different mix. Like at college, I'm a different person. At home, I'm like a complete homemaker. I think that keeps me happy, and I love shopping too.
Do you have like one advice for students, like one thing you want to say?
I would say definitely is be very sorted and understand your priorities. Journal, create a productivity, have a system of journaling. Try to increase your productivity by, planning your day, setting your goals straight, establishing a vision board for yourself. We are all here to help you for that. And try to curate a unique profile which some technology cannot displace. So become indispensable in many ways, in more ways than one.
How does Atlas as a SkillTech university different from other universities in Mumbai?
So Atlas is one of the best universities when it comes to offering skills. Right? We are talking about industrial revolution 4.0 and 5.0. When we talk about this kind of revolutions, we want the future generation to understand that jobs would be created for people with the right skills. So Atlas has got a very brilliant array of subjects that you are exposed to, which help you acquaint yourself to unique skills, right? You have subjects like advanced Excel or disruptive business. These are the subjects which are not offered by other universities. So you get exposed to a lot of business analytics, or you get exposed to a lot of AI and AR, VR technology. So this is something that is a very distinguishing factor. We have one of the best faculties on board with us, and we are a very student-centric university. We place a lot of importance on student learning, and we give in a lot of time and energy for students who are one of our most important stakeholders. I think that's really distinguishable, and we focus on research, which is a very important skill for you to, get into premier B schools. So we are having a vision which we convey to our students, and they work in alignment to that vision.
How important are extracurricular activities in a student's life?
I feel they're very important. I feel that what happens is if you just, look at only studying or only being someone who's involved in academics, it creates a tunnel vision for you, and you're not able to be happy. See, it's very important for me to be happy, to bring my best on board for for the organization or for the institution I'm studying. So probably if you're good with some sport, or he's very good with some music, so what happens is you will be able to create a very unique profile for yourself when you pitch yourself for internships, because you have played leadership role for extracurricular activities and committees. But at the same time, I would say don't put yourself in too many extracurricular activities, because it's very important to prioritize in life.
Work-life balance.
You have to have a balance. You have to understand academics is non-negotiable and is very important. At the same time, you can always pursue one or two extracurricular which your time permits, and you do it out of interest. And it's not just because of peer pressure.
Have you always been a A-grade student throughout your life?
I have been someone who was academically intelligent, because I got also into A&M, which is one of the best colleges. I moved on to getting into good colleges. So it's something I have been academically smart, in terms of grades. But it's also at the same time that it's not been very easy a ride too. I also had my issues whether I wanted to select which subjects I wanted to do my post-graduation and which subjects I wanted to do my PhD. So there has been times when I have been confused too. So we never showcase perfection. We always showcase, at Atlas, we showcase that we are vulnerable, we have made mistakes, but we've taken it in our stride.
Is there, have you made a Tare Zameen Par type impact on any student's life, you would like to share?
Oh my God. So I feel, this is what I feel, that I'm a like teacher. From
you
the
are.
Energy and
I can confirm that you are.
Yeah. So from the energy and vibe I get, I feel that predominantly students do like me, because they are my children. And I always go into a classroom not just to teach. I always feel that there should be some value addition of them having me as their professor. So I do, schedule consultancy hours where they can come and meet me for research, or I do schedule time where I can help them navigate through the problems that they face in student life. So there have been times when, students have come and said after job interviews that, ma'am, this is only because of you. And, there have been these students who have been selected in Ivy Leagues where they've given the credit to me. So I know it has had a lot of overwhelming impact. But as a teacher, I'm not here only for the gifted students. I am there for all students. So I understand my students are different. They are good at different things, and I respect that.
पढ़ाने में और सिखाने में फ़र्क है, and I can guarantee that आप सिखाते हो, आप पढ़ाते नहीं हो. So I would like to thank you to be the first guest on this podcast.